Hello everyone, and welcome to this extra YouTube video here on my channel. And we're going to start by showing you one of my favourite clocks of all time. But first of all, we're going to get some more light on the subject. There we go. The more light the better. Alright, this is a classic square, almost, Anville. Don't know if you can make out the name on the base. I don't know if it's still on there, but this is an Anville. Don't know if the name's still showing on it, but it used to be known as an Anville. This is an Anville clock. I do know that. As you can see, the hands are a bit scruffy. It's been painted. I don't know if it's meant to be like that, but looks like it's been abused at some point, maybe. But I tell you what, it's a fine runner. This is a fine runner. This is an Anville, as I said, and I'm trying to see where on the face it actually says Anville. I know it used to say Anville on its face somewhere, but there it is. Now, you may have noticed already that, yeah, that's got blue tack on it, but there's a reason for why I put blue tack on there, because that door does not hold very well. And this clock is not the greatest in terms of its reliability when the chime actually causes the door to vibrate open, and you'll see why when we run it. But in the words of a YouTube channel that I follow, is a car related channel, Sab Kyle 04, let's start it up and let it run. It's a 3-train movement, as is common to most of my clocks. It's a Westminster / hour strike unit. It doesn't do any fancy chimeage or anything like that. It's just a straightforward Westminster. Beautiful example. And yeah, the key did fall out. The string on this Terry key. This is a Terry key, and the key did get kind of stuck. And I'm going to let you hear the strikeage on this in a minute. Now, this clock does tend to grumble when I'm winding it. You may have heard the clunk from the weights as the springs, putting a lot of pressure behind that. Alright, there we go. I'm going to open the back. You won't see me do this, but you can see I'm trying to open the back there. I'm going to kick it off with the pendulum, and you can hear that beautiful tick. There it is. I'm going to fire the chime off now. I'm going to turn this round to 9 o'clock. Now, you clock connoisseurs may have noticed the typical perevail 2-note strike. For those who don't know, Perevail is a fairly common clock manufacturer, or movement manufacturer at least. They make movements for Anville and Benteamer and other UK brands other than Smiths. There may be others that they do. I only know the ones that I've heard of. Let's turn this round. Always remember when you're setting a clock chime, always let it strike As you can hear, she's quite eager. Now there is a strike silent switch, and it's at the 3 position on this clock. Down is off, on is up. Down is off, yes. On is in the up position. That was right in the first place. Sorry. I should have said down is off, up is on. I got it the wrong way around. I do apologise for that. But there you go. Beautiful movement. I'm going to turn it round. I'll look at the profile right quick. Typical square box clock with slightly indented edges. I rather like it. Suits the movement well. Yes, and that's one of my shoes in the way. I do apologise for that. I do review these on the floor because I can get best angle with my camera. Being partially sighted, it's easy to work on a low surface. Right. Let's turn this thing around. As I say, these videos are not edited, and I know I'm turning it around with a pendulum in it. For where we're turning it around, it's absolutely fine. Typical twist lock pendulum opening. Twist it to the right and pull open. And as you can see, this is a slightly different type of clock movement to what you've seen in the past. This is what I call the overslung movement, or the in front of movement type rod assembly. And what you have is, here's your rods, and there's your gong rods, and they're mounted upon this piece where my thumb is. You probably can't see, but there is a cast iron bar there on which they are mounted. Now they mount in front of the movement, and the hammers are controlled by this piece here. There's, you might just, if I can get in and zoom into it, you might also see the pinwheel there. Well, that's what basically drives the Westminster. And you can see the pendulum swinging behind all that assembly. And a beautiful sound movement. And a beautiful sounding movement that is. Those hammers are kind of bent like that for a reason. We're going to cycle a movement round, and you'll hear this from the back. This is a beautiful movement. It's going to strike 10. The back 2 rods you can see moving there. The hammers are hitting on those. Gorgeous example of something which I don't know when this would have been made. We're going to cycle it round, 1/4 past. These are in perfect condition, or as perfect as they can be for my collection. Given that we moved house, these clocks actually did survive pretty well. let it do a full hour strike from this distance. As you can hear, this clock is not run very often. And it is in absolutely great shape. For its time, yeah, the casing might not be in the greatest of shape, but the clock movement within the casing, for me, most people who collect clocks seriously may not take something like this on board. But I personally like it. And it runs well. Let's do a side profile now, and you can see that it really is pretty cool. It's an unusual shaped clock. Sort of goes in and then out and then over. I like it. It's rather wonderful as clocks go to see something like this. I know I've got wires everywhere. I do apologise for that. This is my main studio. And the clock did actually stop there because I moved it. I'll just get rid of that wire. Cool. There's nothing more annoying than having wires in the way. Well, there you go. That's an Anville clock using a perevail movement. We're going to try and show you the key here. Don't know how much of this you'll be able to see, but that is the key that winds most of them. It's a Terry key. And it does have this is actually meant for a bend teamer. But bend teamers do actually mostly use perevail movements, in which the key is a standard fitment. So, there you go. Most clocks have a standard key fitment. And most German clocks do have a smaller key fitment. There's plenty more clocks in my collection where this came from. And we will be demonstrating more as time goes on. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video, and we'll be back with more.